After last week's episode, we're heading off down south of the island to look for something different. I'd seen the birds working in the distance, so I knew there was going to be a lot of bait there. I got my jigging set down, dropped down a 200-gram jig, and hoped there were a few kingfish waiting. It looks like the Kahawai were going to be causing problems again on the jigs.
Big fish. Right, not target species, but good start.
I continued dropping in hopes that there would be a good sized kingfish hanging around this area. I jigged over and over and over, trying to bring in the fish that I wanted to catch.
That's a big mark.
The seagulls were obviously into the bait along with the Kahawai, but I wasn't too sure what they were feeding on. You find me right in the middle of a massive school of Kahawai, all seething up on the surface, feeding on tiny little baitfish. And it looks like I've just hooked another one. The goal with landing a kahawai this quickly is to get it in the boat, get the hook out and the jig back in the water as quickly as possible. The fish were really working this bait hard, and there were so many seagulls out here. I'd never seen anything quite like this on the kayak.
Ah, there they are, tiny, tiny little larvae. Like white bait.
After finally seeing the tiny little bait that the kahawai were feeding on, I couldn't believe they were still taking my 200-gram jig. With so much food around, it wasn't surprising to see the local pod of dolphins heading in this direction. After that cool encounter, I headed back to the north to fish a shallower rock in hopes that there might be a few kingfish there. When I got there, I couldn't help myself and began throwing a few small lures to see how fast the kahawai were able to catch it.
So we've got a bunch of Blue Mao Mao feeding in amongst all these kahawai, and I was reeling one in and a bunch of them came up and tried to eat the stuff that came out of the kahawai, so I think I might be able to just chuck a few chunks in and get them feeding.
I began breaking up small bits of sandmar and making a slight trail. I wonder if the Mao Mao would respond. I put 2 tiny hooks down with tiny little pieces of sandmar and waited for a Mao Mao to grab it.
Oh, get out of it, Cooter. Blue Mao Mao. Look at that thing.
It's rare to see these guys this far south, so it was awesome to tick one off. Even with the plays of Kahawai biting the lure, I wasn't going to catch a kingfish without dropping a few more jigs. I think we might have just done it.
Gangy.
And with a perfect long range release, that was the kingfish ticked off for the day.
What the?
The next sight was something very unexpected.
What the hell is that? It's huge. What the heck is that thing? It goes on for miles. I would not have a clue what that is, but they're all connected.
If anyone can tell me what this is, let me know in the comments.
It's all just breaking apart.
Fishing was taking a bit of a back seat with all the spectacular action going on the surface. The Kahawai were going insane, and I was just there watching and enjoying the spectacle. After mucking about in the big schools of Kahawai, I headed away from the reef and decided to drop a couple of slow jigs.
Drop the jig down onto some sign, and I've hooked something. You might be able to hear the enormous school of kahawai behind me. What could this be? Oh, a nice big gurnard. At total randomness. As soon as it got to the bottom. Might have another drop. Nice. Suppose that'll get picked up again. Ooh. So, same spot, I just left it down there and I was going to wind up to go to this mark I have on the screen. And I got picked up again. And these fish with him, well, could be kings. Still pulling, I don't know what it is. Oh, a nice snapper. Oh, I'll take that. That's pretty bloody good. Look at that thing. That would be my best snapper out here so far. Oh, getting hit again. Yep, and again. Oh yes. Just little bits of sign popping up on the bottom, and as soon as I get down there, it's just immediate and another good one. Oh, he's not blown. I'll put him in.
I began to work my way back towards the beach, dropping jigs as I went. The conditions were spectacular, and I was just enjoying the evening.
We're all done for today. We've been on the water for another 8 hours, 8 o'clock till 4, so got tons of filleting to do as per usual. And we're just taking a nice close look at the island at the moment. Because it's such low swell, it's probably 0.3. Got about a 2.5k paddle back to the beach. Probably see you when we get there.
I don't think we've seen it this flat for a long time. The final total from an absolutely massive day on the water, gathering fresh food.
Hey team, we've just got in from fishing today and it's pretty late in the day, about 6 o'clock. And we've got a few fish to do. Just giving away the snapper and the trev to the neighbour who's been providing us with crayfish, and a few of the frames will be going over there for craypot bait. I'm just going to pick up a few of the fish that I have here, which are mostly gurnard, so you can have a look before I do my filleting. So a lot of my gurnard today are around this sort of size, just that mid-40s. Nice bit of fat on them, great eating size, plenty of meat. The one fish that's pretty much the standout of the day is this here. Something that pretty much never shows up down this far in New Zealand really, but in summer it looks like Blue Mao Mao are a bit more common down this way. So this one, he was up in the middle of the school with all the kahawai eating those little whitebait, and a bunch of his mates with him as well, and geez, they can actually pull pretty hard. There he is. So yeah, that's everything. We'll get to filleting, then I'll do my wrap up after. Right, let's do this Blue Mao Mao. Very tough skin on the outside. I've never actually been up close with one before, so it should be interesting what sort of flesh they've got on them. It's actually quite easy to fillet. Have a look at this. See, plenty of sweep, which are very, very similar. Seems to have flesh similar to trevally. It's actually quite a nice fish. There are a couple of really good ones in the school that I caught this out of. Look at that meat. It's like teriyaki meat. Just fillet. So there's the first side. Looks very much like snapper or trevally.
I hope you all enjoyed that video. Once again, special thanks goes out to Mike over on Patreon for supporting at the Snapper tier. If you did want to support the channel more, click the link on the top right. Cheers everyone, and I'll see you next week.